trying to see if there's any fancy footwork Banterface can do here, but I don't
Hello,
really
is this thing
see
on?
it.
Hello?
The Pipsy
Did find
the decks that were specifically built just to play giants, but if you can get
answers the 8/8s, it does. Here is the matchup that I specifically mentioned earlier of the Rainbow DK versus the Attack Demon Hunter, and I don't know. I feel like McBanterface is a little bit more favored in this matchup.
With the hand he has, I think he's in a good spot. I would also say he's favoured, but this starting hand from Definition is very good. Like, if you get the one drops to this deck, it does just kill really quickly.
Yeah, I did.
But Banterface does have a lot of stuff that
I
he's able
did
to
stop
fight
the
with,
stream.
so it's going to be a close one, I think.
I went for a morning run. I'm not complaining at all. I've done plenty. I've done 10 morning runs. It just took just 40 minutes today. It's hard to get going. It's really it.
It's a good start. Definition does have double Oracle in hand, but unfortunately at
You know what? I want to watch Hearthstone Worlds 6 months ago.
Extra card draw a little bit earlier, like
I want to watch YouTube or listen to music.
Just the hand as it is gonna need like turn 6.
I did before I went for a run, but
doesn't sound the greatest.
Let's put the meatballs in the air fryer.
He does have the swing with the weapon next turn. He does have his natural card draw, so there's a pretty good chance that he'll be able to activate the Oracle soon enough. There we go. No, it's not ideal, but it's fine. I'd be so tempted. Ziliax is interesting here, actually.
Yeah, the on-curve Ziliax could be pretty good.
It definitely could. Giggling a bit here because Banter's next 2 or 3 turns are so powerful that this turn is kind of garbage. Not by, any fault of anything, just that's where he's at.
He seems very excited about that courtside pickup. Very pleased with himself.
Yeah, it just shuts down the Demon Hunter so much when the Demon Hunter can't swing. So much of the deck revolves around the attack. He's gone from having just nice turns 5 and 6, so a wealth of options now.
Yeah.
They're all good. Good news for Banterface is no matter which one he does here, he's in a great spot.
I've not seen this before. 50% chance, maybe.
I like the pause he took there to kind of stop and reassess.
I don't remember shit, so... No, I don't think I have.
But really kind of took a step back, paused, thought about it, and actually is changing his mind, going for the courtside crusher instead here.
Yep. He's got 4 charges that do very good things, and you can kill this Ziliax. So, yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Right, Definition, you're not attacking ever again. Can you find a way to attack now? The horrible interaction between Oracle having spell damage and Burning Heart has irritated me more than once. Where you want to shoot it to give yourself some attack, but it just dies. So.
I promised I would have gone for more running earlier, but I've been sick for 2 days. Just coughing. I took a whole day being kind of healthy when I went out again. You need, otherwise your immune defense is low,
Well,
barely an unsick. And run for an hour, it tears
we're gonna
down
split the
your
difference and go for the hot
immune
coals
defense,
to
and that's
clear up.
sweet. Just no
Try to
yeast.
protect the Ziliax a little bit. McBanterface can still just use a hero power to clear the Ziliax if he wants to, but it does
Just believe in
force
that, right?
hero
It's just
power,
some
spending a third of the
yeast.
mana to do that. But Molten Magma,
Cheesy.
also a very good option.
I have sourced it
Definition
before on
may
Google.
not have recognized was in hand.
Instead of it going
hope
down,
it
it goes up.
Yeah, he hasn't seen it yet. He has to hope it's not there. You can't play around everything. The reason I wanted to Oracle Burning
Immune
Heart is
defense.
because if you clear the board that way, you still have an Oracle that needs dealing with, even though it's not that hard.
There's some potato
stuff is just blocking
balls there for him as well.
Okay, does pick up the Metamorphosis.
Getting my protein
turn.
through soy, schnitzels and stuff, and hamburgers, but it's a little cheaper protein powders for sure. That's how I think anyway.
With healing.
Yeah, it's effectively 30 plus this. Oh my goodness.
This is why I said I was worried about this matchup specifically. If your definition here.
Roast on 0 damage. Can't believe a deck that plays through the Phalanx Flames is.
I think the Quartzite pickup from McBanterface was.
Would you play a 0 mana card that does nothing in your deck, Sean?
Yeah, going down swinging does work, but I mean it doesn't help. But just to point it out, just to sound clever.
Arcane magic. Now I am how enigmatic.
Completed or completed?
Double through Felon Flames just to clear up one of these elementals from the Frosty Decor.
Yeah.
There's a mid kind of card.
This, right?
Frosty Decor 2/8 taunt, heals you for 8.
In the world where you wake up and you win this game somehow.
It's kind of offensive to my brain somehow because it is 2 attack. If it had 3, it wouldn't be. But we don't get better.
Time to play Spot the Lethal.
Potatoes very cheap in the freezer in the supermarket. Try to buy something every time.
The top 8.
We saw him.
Wow.
Well, Banterface sort of watched that on his stream. The qualification of Yanming looked incredibly powerful in their Chinese qualifiers as well. So lots going on tomorrow, and already.
Who will be world champion?
A lot more damage. It's helping to make decks a lot more consistent.
Condition, if that say any of these are that good. I mean, you can Brewmaster it back and go again, yeah. But yeah, okay, this is why they didn't want to play Mixologist. They wanted to use the
This is barrage spells. You don't have a bloody ship already on turn 2.
Yeah, and the alien encounters next turn as well. Going into the Q pool already starts looking pretty rough for the Demon Hunter. We learned yesterday though, don't write these Demon Hunters off just because it looks like they can't win. Because you can do so much damage with an Oracle and a 1-drop over 2 turns. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, they've definitely got reach, right? Like you do have to always be aware. It's one of those decks where, you know, the game is not over until it's over, right? Until that victory screen comes up, never assume you save. I'm just going to triple check what exactly. I did look at it before, and typically I can't 100% recall. Just going to check what exactly is in the ETC. It's 1 Glacial Shard, a Fizzle, and a Yodeler. That's the other one, the second Yodeler's in there.
Yeah, I like... I've always been a bit strange about having ETC things that are already in the deck as a rule, but as that rule exists, I do like being a bit cheeky with your ETC, sometimes putting a second of something in your deck that you're not really sure if you want. It was even more prevalent in Reno times where you could put a second card, hide it in the ETC, and pretend you were a Reno deck. That was great.
I do that.
Here though, it's a little bit tricky because the encounter's gonna do too much. Is it better? Yeah, I like this actually. Go for Mixologist. It's still reducing the encounters down. You've got some good hits from Mixologist as well. You know, maybe the AoE.
Bro got the double fire
damage, all of which I believe we saw in those choices.
Yeah, just hit them all.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that will do. Again, doesn't fully clear the board.
It's game winning in the temple.
Get in that scenario, wasn't it?
We see some secondary bullshit happens.
And again, puts more spells into the pupils, which means the encounters is a better play next turn into pupil again. It's all looking really, really good. It's still sitting there on 26. Just hasn't bothered drawing the starship portion of the deck at all, apart from the laser badge. just ignoring it. Not even sure how you try and go about it now. Have one turn with going down swinging later. Yeah, but try to get Sif to overcommit to aliens, maybe.
It's very tricky, isn't it? This does feel quite slow. You are still able to push a decent amount of damage with this. Like 3 is still okay. But I think that turn for Sif was really, really good. Just reduce the minion space down. Oh, and there's Exarch. Not too bad.
Sif nods knowingly and sagely. Basically, it's come at sort of the wrong time. Although there's never really a wrong time for it.
Yeah. I think the good thing is it's there as and when needed, but it was not needed this turn, right? I think this is a much stronger turn for Sif. You don't in this matchup. Priority number 1 is don't die, right? And like the playing Exarch like that turn, I would argue, is one of the ways you could have maybe through the game to an extent. We are going to see going down swinging though.
Yeah.
Hemlock be able to clear this up.
Oh, hey, Twitch chat. Baguette the turtle.
Well.
Oh.
Yeah.
And,
Scary.
It's
Don't
so
shit in my
much
refrigerator.
damage once again from a position that looked like it was getting hopeless. Next turn's just lethal.
Yeah, going down.
Fucking sock snake hitting for 7 damage.
It's good, it's a legendary, right? Because it's one of those cards that can really cause some trouble. Oof. I think the second barrage would have been very nice there.
I keep telling myself just not to feel like this about Demon Hunter. Like, oh no, it's never over. No, I just fall for it every time. It's just over. He's just won.
Yeah. Especially with the spirit of the team. And there's Kane. Deletes the taunts. And it is what it is. There you go. Hemlock taking game number 1. And honestly, again, this is definitely showing my own sort of personal bias with the deck. But that is
absolutely happy.
Like, literally, you're really within left.
Game just be the when you think about your stunting
there, getting ready.
Just double to 20 and one of the goals.
All of them were his trophy room to make it
green screen. So
obviously, my decks that you think problem for either
in rogue players.
The wheel in the deck. Look at
this meta. We've got 2 decks that are notably better, or at least were considered to be notably better coming into this event, the Shaman and the Rogue. You can ban one, and then your choice is let the other one win and build a lineup, like you say, to beat the 3rd or the 4th. But you don't know if everyone's going to bring the same 3rd and 4th. Look how diverse.
Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. On the Hunter, we are on that turn 5, and it looks like to no one's. We are back. Sorry about that delay. We had some technical issues. The players were not affected though, and that's the most important thing. The players, as you can see,
credit cards weren't affected.
This game, it's going to be Handbuff Paladin on the top for Hemlock against Sif again on the Hunter. We are on that turn 5, and it looks like, to no one's surprise, Sif has got some of those taunts down.
Yeah, I'm just getting my
well, this is great. I love this community divination training.
Cards are at the top, but yeah. Taunts down for Sif, but a lot of buffs look like they've got already for Hemlock. These things are monstrously big.
Yeah, not
Okay,
looking
that's
too bad at
Magatha
all.
at the top? Looks like Magatha.
Yep. Although tracking already available as the hero power here for Sif, so there has been the Exarch played, so that's going to give options. But yeah, this is a little bit tricky because it's kind of hard to deal with minions this big as the hunter, unless you're already, you know.
Oh,
Like
the
very
title
ahead
is
with
supposed to
the
include
Starship
also
build.
Hearthstone
Because if you're
on
already
the
doing that,
title.
that's not too bad. But at the moment, it looks like Sif's
Because
gonna
when I
try and
was
buy some
done
time because
exercising today, I
it
was
looks like
like,
the South Sea deckhand is
no, what I
freezing
really want to
trapped as
do,
well.
you know, is not like Slayer
Potentially
or
with a Rengari
mining.
Scout,
I just
because there's a
want
freezing trap
to watch
in
some
hand.
good esports,
So
man.
I'm piecing together what's happened in the game.
Yeah,
from
yeah.
the, I'm doing my tracking of my own.
That's cool, right?
Trying to work out what this hunter's done here. And
Watching
it looks
Worlds
like
is always
when Rengari
interesting.
Scout into the forged traps, got the freezing trap propped against the deckhand, but it does mean there's a deckhand.
Yeah, it's fine. It's the main channel and everything.
In hand for Hemlock, which is terrifying.
Yeah, Sif does have these massive 2-7s, but they are only going to slow things down, not stop things, because there are some monsters on the other side. Hemlock does have the next weapon available to buff things even more, the Magatha to draw a load of cards as well. This one's going to be pretty brutal on both sides, I think, because Sif is obviously as well starting to get established with Starship pieces next turn. He's got a little bit of time.
Yes, the Arcanite defense crystals could be clutch combined with their glacial shards as well. This is, you know, almost exactly what he needs to happen.
Meet the balls.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like, he just had a hand along these lines to get to threes and couldn't get it done. But now he's up against 6-8s. It's fine. That doesn't make sense.
It's gonna be too bad as well because there's defense crystal, freezing trap, glacial next turn, and then you can think about getting the Squawk down, or just Squawk anyway for more taunts depending. So there's some good flex here for Sif.
Needs it though. Hemlock's finding ways to put so many stats on the board this turn. Just like that, most of those taunts are gone.
That's okay. All that is, Lorinda, is board space, right? That's the way you look at it as the hunter. Oh, is this going to be Grifter to try and steal? No steal, but there is deal, which is also good.
Steal or no steal?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not too bad at all. And again, I felt like I talked about this a lot yesterday, but Rengari Scout, it's a heck of a card. Because that'll be just 2 1-mana deal 6s in hand for Sif.
Yeah, don't need Sonya. This is far more easy to understand. Just play a card, get a card. That's my thought.
These soy balls are weak and cheap and boring.
2 amulets, which is fine. But then
We're
is
gonna
this
do
be
sauce,
Discover, or is it gonna be
hopefully.
Glacial Face? Because yeah, I was
See
gonna say, I
coleslaw,
could definitely see
smoked
Glacial
coleslaw,
Face. Just get
corn.
the weapon, ignore it for a turn. I like this a lot actually.
Yeah, it doesn't just delay the first use, it delays the second use as well, obviously.
Right.
So you're setting the whole game plan back 1 turn from Hemlock.
And setting up a lot of damage on board, right? What are we on? 10, 11, 13? And also this does curve
Even the
into
sauce
double
is
defense
almost
crystals too,
fatless,
if
made of
that's a
chickpea.
direction
It's very,
someone
very
wants to go
nice.
into. So again, a lot of options as a Yodeler already in hand. So this, although it doesn't look like a biopod game, it could definitely be defense crystals Yodeler game because that can really start to stack up armor-wise.
Yeah, you don't need a huge amount, right? I mean, you need some because, you know, Paladin can do chunky amounts.
But the hamburger dressing was literally good on hamburgers.
Soon as well, so.
I think that's the difference, right? Where the armor isn't... You're not going to out-armor a hand buff paladin forever, right? Because their minions get ridiculously large. But if there's just enough for some safe turns, because suddenly, if you go double crystal and then squawk it, and then you can suddenly you've got a massive starship, right? Not only with the armor, but with the stats, and then, you know, these things start to really compound. So I think it's just don't die quite yet for Sif is the most immediate plan.
Alright, pretty good.
Yeah, and he's doing a very good job of not dying quite yet. And like you pointed out last turn, there's when the counter-attack comes, he will have quite a lot of attack on the board of his own as well.
Right.
So.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like this a lot. It's just funny because this sort of play is so strange, and not strange bad, but just strange because it's.
That's incorrect, right? You should you go for a yellow Yodeler there.
Massively offensive play, right? Because the board's full, but there's taunts and armor generation.
Bro, it's
that's gonna push you
inconsistent.
into the late game, and there's Sasquatch next turn potentially if it gets cleared. So it's that, you know, the best defense is offense, or whatever they say, and Sif's just saying, well, I'll just do both. It's no problem. It's like,
you see a wall of 2 5s in any of these hunter decks. Your first thought is, how am I getting through that? Your second thought is, oh my goodness, that's 12 attacks they've got on the board, or whatever.
Yeah,
it is
wait a minute, they're getting through me.
Yeah. This one is far more. This is 18 on the board at the moment. So
yeah, very, very scary. Being able to defend the Grifter and the Tide Pool for a little bit with those stats is nice too. Oh, Scout, I'm guessing. Yeah. I mean, I'd probably go fishing for the Mixologist. And then there's options of just trading into the Neophyte and playing the Freezing Trap, right? But I think you start Mixologist, because I don't think this is the turn to do Rangari Discovery. I don't think they're really needed.
Agree.
There's
also... your Squawk is a good Squawk, right?
Yeah, well that's what's... I was just about to talk, we're on the same wavelength, my friend. Because there's also the option where you can almost full trade this board if you want, and then Squawk, right? Just to build up the Starship. And then you basically regenerate the board.
Here he goes, I think he's decided that's...
Yeah, this is also completely fine. And this is what I was talking about, because this Starship is going to start getting large.
And Squawk.
Yeah. And suddenly, like, you know, if these crystals go down, that's what, 4 crystals in the Starship. And the cool thing about this list is you don't particularly need the Exodar to get stuff done, because you can just launch the ship and yodel, right? So that's like doable. Obviously, would you like to Exodar? Of course, but it's not like absolutely vital for win conditions a lot of the time. Normally Yodeler does the trick one way or the other.
Pretty sure that whenever TJ sees a ship get launched, he yodels. I think he enjoys it that much. But yeah, the second Exar's picked up, it's just lethal at this rate, I think.
Right.
But there's so many choices, like you just alluded to, and I'm not quite sure how Hemlock's supposed to win the game. Clear the taunts out and hit your opponent in the face for a lot in one go, obviously is the way to do it, but how do you get to that?
I mean, this is a good start with the Tigress. But was the Tigress supposed to get played first? Before the grind?
It really is value as low as possible.
Because 6 doesn't do anything that 5 doesn't do here, right?
And 3 does a lot, yeah, okay.
Or it does more than 6, I don't know. I don't know if, like, because there was taunts to be able to just take out for 4, right? But yeah, anyway. Not too much the end of the world. Oh wait, hang on.
Yeah, I've just started doing the same hang on, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's no biopods, it's fine. If biopods are in this, it's lethal. I feel like.
Oh goodness, yeah.
But this can probably just continue to be taken slow. I don't think Sif, at this point, Sif is I don't think, anyway.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, double laser barrage now. It's very, very nice.
Yeah,
I would
being patient.
guess this is going to be freezing trap to end the turn. It's... Oh, it's going to go mix? Okay. Fair enough. I didn't know freezing trap, although not, you know, clean with the mana. I thought it was just nice to just get it down, because you know there's at least one rush minion, and you know, and you'll know that there's the deckhand in the hand as well.
I like it, yeah. Hemlock, there's no taunts, do a cheeky 53. Just sneak in for 53 quick. Defenses are down.
And this is what's impressive though, right? Look at all this armor. There's no ship been launched or Exodard or yodeled yet Like, none of that's happened yet, right? And there's already this much armor. So you start to do really, really silly things. And there's still the 2 biopods in there. And at this point, even though it's not been buffed or, like, you know, there's not been multiple, like, Rangara, which is another way you can go, it doesn't matter because the starship will be relevantly large anyway.
It really will. Only 9 cards left in the deck with discovers each turn as well, so he'll find what he needs soon enough.
For sure. I think there's still 1 crystal in there. There's the Exodar, of course. There's 2 biopods. A tide pool.
Yep. There's some good cards. Yeah.
That's a large deckhand. Oh,
there we
speaking
go.
of biopod. Wait, so hang on a minute. I don't know how much damage the starship's on.
No, it's not a lethal amount of it.
My throat is irritated, that's why I'm sounding like that.
Times where there's turns where you just go like, you could do some just weird stuff with, you know, the 0 cost ceaseless, right? And go like biopod, ceaseless, launch, whatever.
Yeah. And Yodel, yeah. Yeah. So much. Good discipline this. I think there's probably many other ways he can win this game, but making sure the fizzle's set up in case the game does go longer.
Yeah. It's just clean, right? It's just ticking all the boxes. Now there's an end game or late game option for Sith, with the ceaseless and so on still in the hand for later, with the fizzle. Whereas there's also just, if this biopod dies, the ceaseless probably has to die as well, and then you just go Starship Yodel if you need to, it's fine. Which will gain, you know, 8,000 armor, you know, like 2 tons of damage.
Have you noticed the fire extinguisher, by the way?
I have, yeah. At first, I was like, oh, that's an interesting drink. And then I realized what it was. I was like, wait a minute, is that actually like a bottle in the shape of a fire extinguisher?
It's fantastic. Yeah, he had that in the qualifiers as well. It's
Be reborn in my image.
I think all fluid containers should now be fire extinguishers, honestly. Was needed yesterday as well. One of the co-streamers, I'm not going to name them, had a fire.
Oh?
Their headset caught fire. That sounded exciting.
Oh, I hope they're okay.
Yeah, everything's good. They're just not allowed candles in the background of their streaming.
Oh, candles. Dangerous game. Smell nice. Can be dangerous though.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's Exodar. Well, now there are options.
We've said that every turn. All there is 5 cards. They're all simple. Why? How's there options, Raven?
Well, Exodar can get you a lot more cards, which is always fun.
Sure can.
Didn't get the spaceship piece.
This is the Warlock deck. Amuses me. Probably too much.
Time to light a fire under this town.
Okay.
Okay. Is that dealt with? I'm like you, a little bit surprised his freezing trap hasn't found its way onto the board, but
Yeah, that's still very nice though, getting the damage on the Titan.
yeah. That was an illegal trap. I mean, it wasn't. It was
I know,
it
it
just
was
looked
very
illegal,
funny.
didn't it?
Yeah, but that's the sort of thing you're allowed to do with this deck because you know there's that inevitability.
Yeah.
It is very funny though. The few times, because I feel like actually attacking with ceaseless feels rare because there's always, you know, people are prepared for it, so there's removal or whatever. But
Bro doesn't go 15 damage phase with his hamsterless expansion.
That's definitely a choice.
Ah!
And what is happening?
What's triggering my throat like this? It's something from shots.
Taunts, but
alien maybe or
I
something
obviously can't
really
quite
weird.
see how much
Promise it's
everything's
weird.
buffed, but with the 24 additional armor, 54 health total, I don't think it's buffed
Maybe they
that
want
much.
my potato bombs.
I must move quickly.
Yeah, and the Taylor not being buffed is obviously a big deal. It's coming to hand very, very late.
Right.
But of course, Sif doesn't know that. All Sif knows that Leroy on the left could be, you know, Taylor. It's been there a long time.
Just believing potato ball aliens, right?
Wind Fury, Spark, oh, that would be pretty terrifying.
Yeah, this could get a bit. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Is lethal? I am not sure.
I'm saying yes, but don't ask me how. It looks lethal to me. Sure.
Bro's is a good player.
Does the Reborn cause a problem here?
Maybe.
I mean, there's also just the other option of don't do anything silly. Exodar, get all your shit parts back, and then just dump some more taunts on there. So I'm guessing this is going to
I was thinking about that play actually.
Just go 1-1-1 with the taunt. Yeah.
It's really
This is also
autistic.
just the safe, correct play as opposed to let's try do silly things with the fizzle. Yeah, this is just strong, isn't it? Like again, like what's the plan here for Hemlock?
Yeah.
Oof.
Great restraint by
After all of this turtling, Bro's gonna land on his spaceship.
Pew pew. Hemlock's doing a good job here of like not just giving it. He might give up now, but yeah. But for the rest of the game, he's sort of given it a chance. He didn't know Exodar was in hand and all that stuff, so he's done a good job of relentlessly making sure that Sif has to have the answer, even though he's pretty sure that Sif does have the answer.
I think that's a weird one though, right? Because when you're against Hunter that has the hero power, as Sif of course does take the victory, it's hard to think that they might not have X card in their hand when they've been like spamming the hero power, so they're getting offers of 3 cards in the deck and they can pick whatever they want. I feel like at that point you probably are assuming they have everything they could actually desire in their hand. So really good game there for Sif. Showing what the Starship version of this sort of Discover Hunter can do, and like I said, it's not too bad at all. This is one of those awkward turns, right? Like normally you want this weapon down ASAP with Paladin, because guess what? It buffs a lot, right? Like that's what you want, but doesn't really achieve too much apart from doing those buffs and like because there is righteous in the muscle as well.
Cabbage, corn.
Yeah, the trouble is the minions don't look very exciting at the moment either. So
yeah, so are the 25, 24% fat.
If any of the minions
Don't saturated fat. The saturated fat is by far the worst fat. Animal fats.
Potentially.
right, yeah.
It's so bad.
There's no mana
It's
for
killing
Sandcastle
the entire
plus something,
world.
right there for next turn. So maybe like playing the minions just keeps them. It's really tricky to make these kinds of decisions because again, these sound like if this board sticks, it's the end of the world, which it's not. But you still don't want to get just slapped every turn, right? Like you still don't want extra damage coming out.
So
okay.
Fine. Let the things begin. Starts to start getting asteroids.
Sprut. Get in there! In here!
Yeah.
Now, do you want to coin out your?
I should use my
I
utensils.
think you do now.
Oh yeah, I think you take this every day of the week, don't you?
Oh wow, that's still like
Yeah, it's not like
200 grams of
this
cauliflower.
It was definitely something he wanted to stick around, right? And it's like it's just being sort of batted aside pretty easily because of the totem. Which is very, very, very nice for Sif, honestly, and a good step forward because
it's kind of nasty.
even though Sif's on the lower health, it's not really under too much pressure, and you don't really want to give Asteroid Shaman time, right? Because then they're going to piece together the havoc for later on.
think Sif was sort of the back of his mind that
I think I can finish that.
if he didn't roll the spell damage, maybe to keep the coin, just
If I
drop
try.
down Needle Rock and go for coin Shudder Block after that, and then get double damage out of the breaker and double stuff. But when he rolled it, he just couldn't resist just clearing up the board. Why would you resist?
Yep, going to triangulate those asteroids as well, just to generate a few.
What do you
more.
have?
Got
Sheely and
Cartel
stuff in
from
that,
Totem
bro.
Hill. Things are looking good. There's Titan in hand,
Sheely
Shudderblock,
Coldstone.
the Oracle,
Imagine that.
and the Thanos. So Thanos and new Thanos, as you put it earlier, are available. So Sif's like comfortably got to just the point in the game where you can start doing the fun stuff, right? Which is drawing loads of cards, setting up loads of battle cries, and sort of go.
Just an instant is short of a good time here.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing, by the way, Thanos is still a playable card?
Oh yeah.
2 mana 1/1 that doesn't do anything.
I think the combo of spell damage and draw works together too well, right? For it not to be at least
It's
locked out as a card.
Yeah.
Because you draw cards, and then what's useful normally with loads of cards? Well, normally spell damage.
That Brave has been dumber than usual. Don't tell him that.
Sandcastle is going to come down them with a lot of buffs on it.
Yep, there's some large things on the other side now with Plushie and the deck hand in hand as well. Amateurs can draw as well to refill this hand. It's not too bad for Hemlock, and Sif has done all the basic bits and not dying right, but suddenly this board's getting out of control, and he's not really got a deck stacked with asteroids just yet.
There is the other triangulate. Can something be done here with like triangulate, the malted, the drinks, things like that? Like, is that?
Maybe goes downhill if he might want
Still have to do it.
the sandcastle and just hope he doesn't die. Maybe triangulate and try
Oh,
and
glitching.
that way.
Hear me out a different way, right?
Oh, no.
Can he actually 20 the righteous? Is that ever worthwhile? Just because it's like it's
bigger.
more damage than it isn't, because you'll be able to use the drink, right?
Yeah.
To knock the shield off.
Yeah, maybe actually.
It's just about what he prioritizes the bigger problem, because Sandcastle is the better card, right?
Should have bought Coca-Cola Zero when I was running. Just as I get home.
Yeah.
Pizzeria, because I really want something to drink right now.
Like Sif's at the point where it's just, it's doing our players combined, doing the Captain Planet of players.
I felt if you went this way, you'd rather triangulate and take a chance on the asteroids just killing the thing.
Yeah.
But okay, fine.
Captain Underbite. Nah, it's a retarded image, doesn't it?
Oh, you know what, Lorinda? I'm going to leave you alone for just 30 seconds, if that's okay, mate. One second.
No, don't leave me alone.
Waffle call.
Things will be a mess when you get back. Oh my
Sorry,
goodness. Okay, so Hemlock here with the decision whether to use the Peacekeeper just to take care of the opposing Titan, or to go for the three card play. Basically.
Yo, chat, join me later for Super Smash Bros. Melee in the Melee category.
Plushie it out of the way.
Or if you're following already. Anyway, it's because it's like, you have something better than a major. We have an invitational right now, given my level.
Turn for lethal in some worlds, and obviously it's tempo.
Every day it's gonna be the pros battling each other.
Now Sif is going to need to hit some asteroids, I think, to survive this. Raven's going to come back.
We're happy Yamsa got to be stay in Canada for his career in Melee. Bro still has to drive 20 hours to get to the wide majors across America anyway.
Yeah, this is a little bit spicy.
Hemlock now has
America! Fuck yeah!
Yeah, that is brutal. The Neophyte as well, causing trouble.
He's like, chat, just tell you, I'm going to sleep.
Is this just all in on asteroids? I think it is, right?
Seems that way.
Well,
There's one.
Oh.
Oh, the Neophyte.
Baguette asteroid.
Yeah,
Bucket.
without the Neophyte, this turn was fine, right? Like,
Yeah.
there were other options and it would have been no problemo, but the Neophyte being absolutely clutch. And yeah, the claws do not have life. So that is not going to be enough. And Hemlock
Will he
can
spot it?
take the lead. Yeah, can he spot the lethal? The ultimate lethal puzzle. Send that one to Twitch chat. But yeah, Hemlock gonna take the lead there in what felt like a very close game.
Good level. Right. You might think, well, they're just top 200. What's the difference? You know, Hearthstone, cards, all that. The top players on that Rogue deck are worlds better than even a good player on that deck, and there's every chance I'm understating that, but I do think the Shaman is slightly better.
Well, let's get into it here. It looks like it is going to be the Shaman that is going to be picked for both sides. Sorry if you can hear Waffle agreeing with the analysis. But yeah, it's going to be Sif obviously needing to win this game. If Hemlock takes the win here, he's going to be moving on to that top 8.
Baguette Championship. Send your Baguette champion.
Asteroids in there early. It's a big deal because every now and again one pops out and just murders an opposing minion, and that adds up over the course of a game. You need it more than you think. Hello?
You know, Germany, if they have great swords, you have great baguettes across baguettes in France, right?
I don't know, they're giving their money away, aren't they? With the partners, I think this seems fine.
That's a good point, actually.
This looks okay, 2 into 2, and you don't really lose the coin.
Yeah, just use it. Boom.
Yeah, the Miracle Salesman, definitely a good pick up there.
Who's swarming now?
I like that card.
A rough hand for Hemlock for turn 2. Which is something I keep saying that I don't believe this Shaman does very often. I think the Shaman is very, very consistent of not wasting mana. But not a pleasant turn at all for Hemlock.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky because there's also the problem of, does this have, like, do you want to totem just to get more stuff on the board because you can do things when you have stuff on the board? Or do you just preload the weapon because, generally speaking, preloading a weapon is good if you've got the mana to do so? So a bit of a tricky one there, but there is now a bit of a smoother curve for the next few turns there for Hemlock, so definitely does have the ability to recover, but I actually quite like this high tempo opening from Sif. I think this was a really good way to approach the matchup, because just saying, you know what, I know what you want to do, I'm going to drop loads of 2/3s on the board, and they trade at least okay with the majority of the openings that you can have.
Yeah, I think it's put him into a pretty good spot. Hemlock last time I think was looking, if he rolls Taunt Totem, then he probably would have got to the bouncer with a minion intact. But if he rolled anything else, he probably wouldn't.
Right.
Was my quick take on that, at least. So he decided to get the cheese going.
I thought another combat move in my book, Baguette Wall, from the floor. There's always floor everywhere. I'm floor and tumor man.
Which wouldn't get equipped any other time there.
Right. Yeah, with such a tight curve, it was unlikely that this weapon was going to see any impact. Ooh, okay, Cookie picked up. Now it's really tricky though, because with the weapon, yeah, I was gonna say like Cliffside looks pretty good because it could have been like Cheese Neophyte just to spread, but
yeah,
I do think like with this setup, it's the same old with Cliffside. Honestly, it always feels like it's a bad turn followed by a very strong turn. It's like this is the slow setup version. But it might well pay off for Hemlock quite a lot here, especially with that Cookie in hand.
Yeah, he may even be able to play the bouncer with the Pirates here and just delay the cheese so it's even bigger. Obviously, big cheeses can dodge asteroids. That's a famous saying in astronomy.
Yep. Although I feel like, I think Cookie Neophyte is also very likely, right?
Yeah, it's all, whatever you like here.
It's cheese all the way down. Just not this turn. Oh, well, that's pretty good.
Wow.
Equipping the weapon earlier was cool.
That all worked out okay, didn't it?
Yeah.
Tell by Sif's reaction that is unfair. Why?
Okay, not quite as good. Yeah, this might look a little bit weird, but this order allowed Hemlock to get the most sort of evolves, right? I say, kind of evolves, but...
Yeah.
by throwing away one into the minion it could have already taken out.
Corgi.
Okay, a little bit of a buff as well to end the turn with. Wow, that was a very strong turn.
That's a fucking neophyte,
If you consider
man.
all of those +1 mana, that's a lot of mana he got on that turn.
Yeah. And again, the neophytes making these turns for Sif horrendous.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me on
What's he
the.
supposed to do?
Like, look at the difference this neophyte's making to what Sif has in hand.
10 a.m.
Yeah, it's just another moment where Sif could have been like, yeah, this is fine, I can deal with this.
RuneScape
Oh
stream.
no, emergency.
That
really
could be
rough.
created this emergency. Look at the state of it.
And there are no asteroids, right? Am I?
There's 3, I think. He played.
Or is it? Oh,
I think about the Cookie Monster and Family Guy injecting Credo straight into his veins. It's pretty funny.
He's looking at gift into bloodlust.
Our innocent hero from our childhood is suffering with adult misery.
Oh my god.
It's always funny. It's, for example, we have like Goofy and Mickey Mouse going like, Mickey, she's gonna found the forest papers. I don't know what to do.
Reacting here isn't just he's about to go to.
I want it for arson-free counties, Mickey. Yeah.
Which he is not going to enjoy. Probably. Oh, it's 3-1 even.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the turn.
But maybe you need to realize at one point that losing your entire life,
if Hemlock was like normally
everything turns horrible and then you die is
that would
an
have been a bit annoying
option.
because they couldn't play anything.
And you
right,
laugh
with
about
nothing
it.
on board. But being able to
You laugh about your pain in your life.
location and
Maybe you need to do
with
that
Neophyte
first.
number 2 is so good.
But what we know for sure is not everybody gets this.
Like, you've got a fire extinguisher. Just put the fire out. It's okay.
You have a brain injury.
I'm sorry, the hand flick to be like, huh? I can't believe this has come out. Oh, that got me good there. Oh, okay, Sif, you're making me laugh. You're making me sound unprofessional because I normally always.
At least you know the
sound
score.
Professional.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, true.
No, didn't hit the thing either.
Oh, and there's
Spell
just
damage.
a whole lot of nothing going down here. How much damage is there? What, for? What, 20? Would be 17, sorry, 18 if, well,
Plus spell
16
damage.
if the Cobalt
yeah.
goes. Yeah, I'm just trying to
Cobalt
think.
The fucking neophyte.
Well,
They
I
can
think
miss his
if we
entire
have a look,
plane.
there's enough damage is the accurate response. Oh, coin. Oh.
The disrespect.
It's a perfect cookie.
Oh, yeah, that was insane. Oh, Hemlock
Bro knocked him out of
takes the
worlds with that
victory.
bullshit.
Not
The
only in
fucking
this game,
neophyte.
but we did the calculations, and yes, it is in fact 3-1, which means he takes the series and moves on to top 8. What a wild last game. That is... everything just came up Hemlock at that point. It was all just going well. I do think, though, well positioned.
Exactly.
You already see it, right?
Jordan drops every turn, but he makes some pretty good plays as well. Bro can win worlds.
Yarla goes to the rope.
Good.
We passed the gamer RBG, you're like, yep, Sigil, seems good. Gamer's nope's gonna sit there, consider all of his options.
Bro's pretty smart, but really wants to take as long time as possible to really be sure he's sure of everything, you know? His brain has a hole.
You know, it's just like a chess player trying to think out the moves ahead, right?
This is just performative at this point, surely.
Bro, it's probably turn 1.
I've never been as much of a person for
I've never been such a person.
hand reading.
I've never been a
type
person,
things,
you should have.
but that is something they may be thinking about, right? Is you know, with what's been played or how quickly, although if everyone's taking the full time, maybe how quickly it doesn't really merit into this thought
The reason why we dislike these fucking 1/3s, gain a bunch of fucking attack,
okay, they mulligan
ever since
X amount
Mana
of
Worm,
cards,
it's because
what does
there's
that
no
mean?
counter.
Honestly, I was surprised to see
You're a
Hero
good player, you're
throw
getting
back
beat down by this
turn
bullshit,
cards.
and you don't have a
Because that looked like
fucking
a perfect card on this
deal 3
turn.
damage 1 mana card on curve to counter them.
But yeah, I'm kind of into the.
Oh yeah, that was the problem with
behavior reads
Panel
and
Chog
hand reads and
in
that kind of thing.
Golem as well.
Back when I used to play competitively, but you
Totally
you
Golem.
have to offset it with the personality of the player you're playing against, right? Like,
Yeah.
if
It's
you're
so
playing
dumb,
against
people should lay
Casey, or
eggs
in my case,
as
like
humans.
Blackout in terms of the UK scene. Blackout will play every turn in 15 seconds. So if he suddenly took 75 seconds, then I have more to work with then, right? But you still have to have your baseline, which I don't think you can really apply to Gamer RBG and Yala in particular, because yeah, they're just going to take their time, no matter what.
People, person who's trying to make 1 mana board clear, 2 mana popular, the entire fucking 10-year period, so until now, it's been good.
You know, so I actually I misevaluated earlier in that I thought Yarla was on the attack Demon Hunter, but he does have more of the pirates in this, right, with Hosen and the Sigil in the 2 locations. So yeah, the Malted Magma makes a lot of sense to me as a pick there. You haven't seen any pirates yet, but there could always be location coming down on 4, and it's just such a clean tool for dealing with those pirates.
Yeah, generally, one of the most powerful things the Demon Hunter is able to do is just preemptively set up some pirates, be that via Sigil or via the location, and then drop Hose and Roughhouser to follow that up, so you get sometimes nice trades or sometimes just a full board of 2/2s that are going face. So Malted Magma just very, very useful for cleaning that up, with or without spell damage. It's just sometimes you have to spend a little bit extra mana to do it.
Yeah, and this play right here might really get Gamer thinking about, like, oh gosh, is there a Cliffside coming down next turn? Just Hosen on 3. I think Yarla's evaluation here is that with no Turn the Tides used before, that it would have to be top decked, right? Since it was the perfect card last turn and it wasn't played, and it has to be top decked. It was, but the odds of that are pretty minimal.
Yeah. Also, very limited alternatives this turn unless you're spending your mana on throwing out Acupuncture and Hero Powering, which is a lot of damage because you have Sock Puppet in play. Still, just playing out your minion on curve, keeping up the pressure as best you can, especially with Ziliax in hand, right? You want to be playing as many minions as you can every single turn to just try and start your turn with a playable Ziliax. Yeah,
absolutely. And the hero power has less value with Spirit of the Team just in play. It's not as though the hero power was going to allow him to clear an extra one of those taunts. Pop-up book.
Blizzard's gonna realize we are the victims, we take every unbalance that happens.
It's just 1 mana.
That's why his playstyle is OP.
But those 0/1 taunts
it
are
is kind of this truth
aggressive decks
to it.
In specific situations.
We can see how the fucking want about the power level of the game.
This is such a
well, we think it's OP.
Here for Yala,
we notice like
Gamer's hand,
a hummingbird in a mine.
Total dead turn. So if you could get any kind of sizable board down here with more than 2 health,
what those kind of birds are straight and blow up
get some pressure going
into a ball and they float away in the sky.
Absolutely nothing to do here.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a wash whether you just play Hot Coals and you Hero Power go face, or if there's sort of no point to Hero Power the minion itself. You just get the damage back from the Hot Coals.
Yeah, I guess the only real argument is that whether spending mana on Acupuncture now is worth it to push the 1 extra from Potcut. Well, I mean, you push the extra damage from the Acupuncture, you miss the 1 damage from the Hero Power anyway. It just does not seem worth.
Probably the worst play possible. What? All that thinking.
And this is kind of the awkward difference between the Demon Hunter pirate deck, which, as you can see, has much.
I want to bet this game.
compared to
criticize
I
that
guess
I
similar
was.
density, but fewer others swarm
You say she doesn't
things
like
going on
that, but
than the shaman. The demon hunter is focused on
well, am I too
some of
mean or
these
something?
other
No, I
aggressive
don't think
minions,
so.
like the sock puppet slither spear.
Oh, how would do the
and,
World Championships? Hearthstone is an
has
easy
these
game
burn
for a genius
cards
like
from
me.
Around a Thrill Seeker, whereas the shaman is very focused in on, you know,
The first
go
month
wide,
started playing the
go
game, I
wide,
got the
eventually
top
bloodlust.
percentages.
And so sometimes Pirate Demon Hunter just ends up with these awkward draws, right? Where you haven't really gotten the pirates. You have to awkwardly play a, what is it a 5-mana 5/6? 4/5?
Yep. 5/6. Yeah.
Can't wait to open another run.
And even then, like, I'm desperately trying to formulate
The
some other plan that
chemicals
doesn't
of
involve
being
playing a
balanced.
5/6 because
My body, just like when
going
I
into the
drink
Cliff
Pepsi
Dive
Max.
turn or the Titan turn. As it happens, it's both, right? But you can
Yeah.
kind of account for the fact your opponent's done some weird passy turns over the last couple of turns. They probably have it juiced up and ready to go. 5/6 into either of those things just does absolutely nothing and progresses you.
Did you see a 5-6 into hydraulic press?
You just
Hydraulic
don't
gears?
have the other options.
There's, awkwardly enough, a strong argument for just hero-powered face. and that's kind of miserable as this style of deck. But it's sort of either hope they don't have it when there's 3 cards that have been sitting in Gamer's hand all turn. And yeah,
What?
Yarla does
You don't play
just go
Arana?
for that option. It seems really strange, but is at full health, and he knows Gamer's had these 3 cards in hand the whole time. Just putting something out to get hit by a walking mountain feels terrible.
Exactly. Yeah. You just were, especially such a high health minion where the fountain can attack. The mountain can attack twice into it. That's basically a full heal then for a gamer RBG at that point. And it's not like normally when you're playing the aggro in this situation, you're like, okay, I'm not going to play my minion to play around their lifesteal rush thing. It's like, okay, normally that's dumb because you pass, they play the minion anyway onto an empty board and you still lose. But because of specifically
You lost so much tempo for that play.
straight back into the deck.
Barely got anything back from the value.
They need those minions to attack into.
Right.
Fortunately for Gamer RBG though, gets pretty much the perfect response to that off the top. One of the most proactive things he was able to do with the 2 photons.
Yeah, Frosty Decor, big reason that this Shaman deck has recovery.
What? Why can't I criticize the players?
Health of Taunt and then 8
Good
armor.
roast is funny.
I think it's got to be one of the strongest defensive tools in the format right now.
Yep. Let alone when you get it alongside a whole other 5/5.
Completely fine.
The optimal version.
Can't say that it isn't.
Yep. Yeah, it's a cleverly assembled deck when you consider all the moving parts, even though it looks strange at first having, you know, Incendius and Hagatha in here, but with Fairy Tale Forest to specifically target draw.
It's so dumb. Get 4/5 is pretty dumb too.
That could have been worse.
Yeah, if you could, exactly. If you're going to allow your opponent a cliff dive, that's probably about as good as it gets for you.
Yeah. I'm tempted to...
And now Cliffside.
Is it just Cliffside Pass?
It looks a lot like Cliffside Pass, yeah.
Maybe even Hero Power?
It's kind of fun that the first rock gym master in Pokemon is called Brock.
Yeah, that's probably good, right? Because you want to deal 2 to it next turn with the Burning Heart.
Mm-hmm.
And then being able to just trade a 1/1 pirate into it. Because I think you will be... Well, okay, yeah, it does depend on some variables with the draw as to whether you would be attacking with a pirate before you play your Ziliax, which is the goal at the end of the turn as well, right? So...
I don't think you can get the Ziliax out without the second activation of
Come
the
on, bro,
location.
you gotta play something.
Right.
In which case you would want the
Okay, so you're
extra
saying
damage.
the face attack is going to go into the 2/4 before anything else happens?
What? I'm saying that
No, right.
you are. It is awkward because you want to get value out of the Adrenaline Fiend, right?
Yeah.
What? He's just one of the strangest players I've ever seen
You
competitively.
can put 1 damage into the taunt, and that'll
But
allow you to
he's
do
getting
something
value
else.
eventually.
Well-
But the game RPG needs to lose a tempo here, and
It
his pace
seemed
doesn't work.
possible until that second one came down.
That cannot be argued
and
against.
Golganeth. I think we need exactly
Irrefutable.
down swinging. Hot coals, not gonna do it without Ethereal Oracle. And Oracle is in the deck, but obviously not in hand.
The whiffed turn for Gamer RVG, where
Have a way of punching through those boards.
oh, thank you, Dawn. Dawn letting me know that Gyu had hand buff in group end. So thank you. We have seen a little bit of variation of it already. What we're not seeing variation in, though, is Yala's starts, because he has Slither Spear into Spirit of the Team again. If anything, this is even better, because he now has that sigil to follow up.
This Michelle's making me tired and trying to end the stream because what I said about
much more
criticizing
comfortable
players. Come
draw
on.
Here.
What
I
the
think,
fuck?
you know, based on last game, yeah, maybe Yarla should have kept that quick pick, because it might have been necessary to get some refill, but certainly Ethereal Oracle.
I can't be as critical as I want to be, and I will be. So you just leave or you stay.
For sure, I would have
It's not
kept
much
it,
options you
just-
have, really.
It's card draw that will prevent what happened to Yarla happening to a degree. And then also, yeah, you know, it's one extra attack per turn, but when you have double Slither Spear, you can be very generous and call it 3 extra attack per turn, right?
True.
2 mana in 1 turn, which is
Yeah.
very, very nice.
Yeah, I think.
But you could argue that Sigil would have been better, Ethereal Oracle would have been better, so on and so forth. Like, location, even with the way the curve worked out, probably would have been a better card just to have secured in your hand. So, yeah, I think it was fine to throw it away.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Sigil come down here, but this is one of the kind of major sort of breaking points between this deck and the just attack Demon Hunter, right?
Here's something
Slither
stupid
Spear
I can say if I want
can
to.
be very
What kind of
powerful,
baguette is this,
but
or
you're
what's a
still
turtle? I
kind of
would say,
pirate
what
deck,
kind of
and I
dog
think
is
the
that?
Sigil coming down is because of
Dualism.
that Ziliax draw for sure. Maybe you're more interested in getting Spirit of the Team down if you don't have Ziliax.
Yeah, if you play Spirit, attack the 1/1, you protect your Sock Puppet from O Manager and only really be the weapon.
Oh my god, it's too hot to wear
on
socks
the
here.
curve there, but the weapon's kind of the good play.
I got
here,
black
if
feet,
you wanna
Chad.
play around
I'm
most
like
of the
black
times.
feet
Sigil does
Sanji
that
in one piece.
effectively. This
But not because I wear
is
black
much
pants,
better
suit
Zodiac
pants,
chance
because
than we had in the previous
I've
game.
been wearing socks
Yes, indeed.
inside the weeks and my
So,
feet that
do
are
you
black.
just coin it out here, or do you go for the location to try and get it even cheaper for the next turn?
I think I want to set something up with location. There's a lot of counting involved here, because you also have to think about doing something like Spirit of the Team this turn, and then trying to work out whether, like, Cliffside Coin Ziliax is possible next turn, because you have the free attack preloaded with the Spirit of the Team.
So,
With that, lets you get the full board.
Oh, thank god, that's some coffee candy here. I'm dying as gourmand.
Cliffside is in play.
But that's the thing with being gourmand. You
takes
disappoint
up
the most of the time because things just aren't just to have a huge punch, you know?
So the cheapest you
In
can
which
get Ziliax
case-
is 2 mana.
So I
It's
tried
gonna go for
to.
that setup though.
Yep.
And perhaps this is sort of to do a vibe check on Prismatic Beam.
Vibe check in Hearthstone? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's a tough matchup because you do have to consider filling the board as both a positive and a negative. Obviously, you want to do it, but you need to make sure that when you're doing it, you're paying it off with Hosen, Ziliax, with all the other pirate payoff cards. Because if you're just making a full board of 1/1s, Horizon, Prismatic Beam, etc. Like the Paladin deck has benefits from you adding more small minions to the board as well. So there's a real to and fro to the way the matchup can play out.
Yeah, definitely. But there is only, let's see. Oh, there might be 2 beams in. Yeah, there are 2 beams in Gamers and Banter's Lanessa Paladins. So definitely can see what their goal is with the deck. Ooh, yeah, maybe just another Spirit and then Ziliax here.
Which would then be, what, trade 2, attack for 4 with the face, push 2. Pretty good.
Yeah,
the other option, I guess, is to go fishing with Oracle, because Burning Heart has a lot of value here.
Sure, yeah. But I think the Cliffside is pretty much out with the Horizon play.
Håsen och såsen. Oh, that is our card actually. It said something random.
Yeah.
Yep, this looks like the most sensible. I think if you go Horizon and Whiff, you end up
Och sen så får broken upp
really
into
being in a sticky position of dealing with the 4/6. You might just mess up your curve as well if you just don't hit the right mana cost to fill everything out, having played the coin. So I think this is the most sensible. Kind of demands a Ziliax to be dealt with here by the opponent.
Right, and a nice thing about having Ziliax out alongside more than just tokens is that Gamer really wants to deal with these spirits, and even if he had a Prismatic Beam, it wouldn't be good enough since Ziliax is buffing them out of range. The weapon is likely to be used to finish off the Ziliax. Sort of the best case scenario would be to beam into O Manager, right? So yeah, it's just going to be the Lanessa pop-off right now, defensively.
Yeah, it makes sense. You have a ton to do here. Double coin allows you just to go all the way back to the O Manager, and then the coin again allows you to be able to at least set something up for the following turns. Get another coin together. Allows you to take care of one of those spirits as you were talking about. Probably just triple coin Gorgonzormu here. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you want to get the cheese charged up so that if Lanessa lives, you can get just a full board. And the coins don't have a lot of value after this.
Gamer RBG seems Marv is very inconsistent.
Now. Okay.
It's like a feeler trying to do thinker stuff.
Oh sure, yeah. I wasn't even. It does slip my mind occasionally.
Well, it's really bad.
Just double casts with Lanessa, in which case, yeah, you absolutely.
I'm gonna harmonize with my cactus. So don't bite me.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And hot coals would clear all of this, so yeah.
You're just gonna make me turn into hot fudge. It's gonna pack this fudge.
Hot coals, and no one's brought Zarimi Priest, but Zarimi Priest is thrown.
Never had a better fucking hot coals in the game, I think.
Ethereal Oracle over Magatha for draw now. That's spell damage with anything that does damage in stages.
Yes.
Just very effective.
Great draw off the top for Gamer, though, in terms of staying in this game. Obviously, one of his primary win conditions is done now with the Lanessa.
Yep.
There are some cheeky ways that you can get a second copy going. But for the most part, he's just going to have to deal with the real primary win condition against most forms of Demon Hunter, which is just stay alive until they run out of things to do.
And it's a tough spot to be in because Robocaller is probably the best form of draw in the deck, but it's also a pretty terrible top deck because you can't play it right away. it would
Right.
pull one prismatic beam and that's it, because it always starts at triple eights. So, yeah, Ethereal Oracle, the best draw besides, barring maybe Amethyst to pick up a couple of minions. Kind of looking at location sigil.
Yeah, right there with you. It doesn't quite line up to say like hero power away the divine shield, drop the metamorphosis, get the damage through, because then ideally you'd want some other small ping for the next turn, because you know another divine shield will appear, so you can get the second shot of your metamorphosis out to the face without being able to do that. I think just setting up for 6 or 7 pirates on the following turn is probably the way to go.
Yeah. And then... Oh, interesting. Okay, gonna just go ahead and pop the shield now.
Oof.
It is draw eventually, maybe.
Mm.
Yeah, Yarla sitting on a lot of damage in hand. Meta is, what, 10 over 2 turns, plus acupuncture is 14. And we know he can get quite a bit out of the Hosen.
So if we've learned anything from the Hearthstone World Championships, Gamer RVG has to find a way to get Yarla below 4 as soon as possible. Sadly, I don't think that is possible.
Yeah, not with Vanessa used.
No.
But you do actually 1 damage. Fritz, Hosen.
Quick pick, always nice.
Hosen rough
Particularly
balance.
since he wasn't likely to do, meta or acupuncture this turn, so it's good for filling in the space.
I think if my final analysis, quick pick is that it's actually good, because drawing 2 cards with 2 mana is premium. Usually, even when you do draw 2 cards for 2 mana instead of 3, you don't have any additional damage or
The only real
effect.
negative I see with this hand is that the
It's not about you trade with
your
them.
2 biggest sources of damage are the Hosen and
Bro,
the
you
Meta.
had a
They're
quick
both a
pick.
little too expensive to be able to, explode out over 2 turns and just kill your opponent.
Sure.
Like, you'd love to be able to do both of those things this turn, but you then don't have the mana for the hero power. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Quick pick is providing something else to do.
But there's not... Well, I was going to say there's not really healing remaining. There's Ziliax, and the fear of Ziliax does motivate one to try and close out the game quickly, but he does have pretty good knowledge of Gamer's hand, right? There's 2 cards, and he knows one of them is Divine Brew.
Yep.
So just taking out the Oracle, so
Broken the prismatic hamster.
Hosen all on its own, and shipping everything else. And just the first activation of meta is enough.
Yeah, Gamer RVG does not have the knowledge of quite how doomed he is here. Still does have this draw of the snake oil to find some... Okay, alright. Hello. You look vaguely helpful.
I'm guessing the best here is armor and either draw or just try and high roll the resurrect into Horizon.
The Living Horizon?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a dire situation.
That was the smartest thing I ever heard her
That would
say.
at least stop the weapon swing going face
Oh.
the shield, right? Which is
Right.
very relevant. At this
Bro,
point, if you're
get big
decking
fan
this
blue.
way.
I didn't think about that.
Interesting. I guess you could take the Fell Bloom and
That was kind of
yeah.
underwhelming pick by.
Yeah, because it's the only way to keep your Divine Shield from just getting popped with 1 damage is to have Living Horizon. But that's going to do it.
Acupuncture and the meta is going to square this up. 1-2-1.
Bro, got with the burning baguette.
Gamer RBG going down with the Paladin. Yala getting a win on the board with the Demon Hunter at the 2nd attempt. Very nicely done. Obviously, we're talking about that at the end from the perspective of knowing the damage is there to get the lethal.
Yep.
Gamer RBG does not have that certainty. Obviously, with all of the cheese minions dying as well, the Resurrect pool was completely ruined for the idea of trying to get back a Living Horizon or even a Lanessa. I don't think there was anything cute that you could do if you did manage to get that back. But still,
When I close my eyes, I see Horizon or
probably
baguettes.
right line, just trying to find, trying to draw through the deck, find something to do.
Let's take a break from. No, I can't play actually. It's gonna stream it to YouTube. Can't play music. How's your brain? Hey, you wanna do some drugs?
To create some additional defense, but yeah, in the end, Yala just stacking up too much.
I didn't see that because I've done cocaine before. That's not this.
The Oracle had to be kind
Yep.
with the hot coals, and absolutely did so.
Yeah, without that board swing, I can absolutely can see a world where Gamer RBG just runs away with it. Yeah, even with the cheese minions only being 1-drops, getting the Divine Shield taunt in there. It was a pretty great role just for protecting and trying to
Baguette
keep
roll.
Lanessa on board.
Yeah, got Righteous Protector and what is it called? Arcane Artificer from the 1-drop. So
Yeah.
actually just taunt plus
Baguette Protector, Baguette Elemental. Baguette Elemental. Let's somehow taking things very far. Feels like I've breached crossed the line I shouldn't cross. I was writing down in my book.
We have just watched at this point is 2 face Demon Hunter games, but yes, that is all we've had in this series so far. And now we're dealing with Pipsy Paladins, with Lanessa Paladin,
Baguette,
Swarm Shaman on one side from Yala, and
We don't have a cheese elemental we use for protein. The heart is Dutch tomato cheese.
Gamer RBG. Obviously, I think the Rogue is going to be the potential sticking point here for Gamer. I don't necessarily know too much about the Pipsy Paladin matchup with Cycle Rogue. Is that anything that you've ever done? In this case, you know, the Pipsy Paladin from Yala. So we will wait and see, I guess, but we won't have to wait too long because it is coming out immediately, going up against the Lanessa Paladin from Gamer RBG on the other side.
Yeah, not the full mirror because of that Pipsy difference, but I wouldn't be surprised also if Yarla just sort of had this train of thought of, well, the other sort of deck to target Rogue is hand buff Paladin with a bunch of tech cards, and that looks like a pile of garbage that I don't want to play, so he's brought this instead. But the tech cards have been doing well against it.
Can I have a tournament, please? What are you doing? Being bald. Playing old school RuneScape. Okay. That was pretty, yes. That was just 1 second, it's not reportable.
Salesman for Yarla.
Didn't do any content either.
RBG does not look delighted with what he's got back.
Bro is bald.
I think that was the Gorgonzorma who threw away, just coming back off the top anyway, which, yeah, I think might have been one of the more debatable cards to keep in that opening hand anyway.
No, chat, come on, don't report like Bros broadcasting other streamers. That was just like random.
Yeah, Hi-Ho Silverwing is
not broadcasting illegal things. Don't say,
like,
don't report
it's nice
that.
to have, and you.
This pitiful report, right?
But there's also a lot of
Not
times
for no
where it
reason why you
stays
know it's a
in play
lie.
a lot longer
Just
than you
to
think it would,
now
and you
then.
don't get your draw for
Right.
quite a while.
Right.
So I think Robocaller is really the one that you're looking for, particularly as
Bro plays a
the
good,
only one that's
has
deck.
good PvP. Also runescape. Pivot. I want to go to sleep. Oh, colon 3.
This might just be hero power.
It looks quite hero powery, doesn't it?
I really
trade,
do.
sure.
Oh wow, okay. Alright,
My brain doesn't want to work like it needs some recovery time.
It does go to show the devaluation of the hero power in modern Hearthstone. Like
Yep,
you would
yep,
actually
yep.
rather kill one of your own minions and float a mana rather than spending that mana on hero power instead.
Uh-huh. So then now the question is, what? Metal detector to get some coins. You don't have the things you'd ideally like to coin into. I think this can be one of the
I need a
awkward
5-minute
things
break.
with these paladins.
You
is
guys
that
can
you have a
watch this,
handful
I
of
guess. I'll be
coins or
back
things that generate coins,
quickly.
like manager, and then not actually any of your payoffs. And then you don't have hand space unless you spend the coins to go digging for those cards.
Right.
I just noticed Yarla has like a wizard's apprentice hat sitting there. What?
It's a good point.
That's
Unclear.
like the hat from Fantasia.
It is, yeah. It's the Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey Mouse hat. Right? It used to be a giant trophy there, so I don't know. Maybe the imagery here is that Yarla no longer feels like a champion because he hasn't had that big win in quite a long time. He now feels like a mere apprentice.
Uh-huh. Okay. Something that has to be dealt with.
Hey.
Yeah, and has enough tools with the combination of whatever Mixologist, O-Manager, if it comes down to it as well, can just shoot off the majority of the damage.
Yeah, deal
Okay.
3 is nice.
Kan jag få 3 dagars framförvarning framöver?
Yeah, no 2 to everything is a bummer. You could, I suppose, summon to get another tradable.
Ja, precis.
Might be marginally better than just getting a 2/2 demon, although, again, hand space issues.
Okej, tack så mycket. Hej då.
Yeah, actually choosing for just the demon rather than getting the Miracle Salesman back.
Makes sense, right? If he's playing no other cards this turn, which no, he is not,
Right.
then
Yep.
the extra Snake Oil would be an overdraw. But I do like this from Yarla. Like, there was a full board there, which, you know, obviously if he hit the 2 damage AoE, great, we're in business, but there was a possibility of overreacting there with a bunch of O-managers and stuff as well, which he just didn't really need to do. Both of these decks will be able to rebound health totals at some point, you would imagine. So Yarla just relatively content to create some board tension here instead.
Yeah, I mean, Yarla may need to just use all those coins to put out a very early Ziliax to recover, because he is getting pretty low, and... Oh, there's the Robocaller for Gamer. So that'll... But Incendius might come down next turn. Because, I mean, there's not a lot of ways of dealing with that.
No, there aren't. You're generally not counting on a Ziliax coming down.
Well, there we go.
That is entirely possible.
There,
okay.
There's the hand size
A
payoff.
card. Finally, a card. It's actually a really huge swing on the board, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Living Horizon just single-handedly presents an incredible brick wall. And to get to do that alongside either setting up the weapon or maybe managing something. If he sets up the weapon, I guess even if he doesn't set up the weapon, he has the ability to triple coin out of Ziliax to try and, really push things back his way.
Yeah, if he plays the weapon, he can actually coin an O manager and still then have enough coins left over to be able to triple coin out Ziliax.
Yep.
Again, whether or not he feels like that's a reaction that's necessary. If this attack is happening, it looks like he is. Oh no, okay, it's just going to take the extra damage on the minion instead of the facer. Alright, fine.
Yeah, I think he mustn't be trying desperately sort of not to, in a sense, waste any coins, right? That he does maybe want to get out the Ziliax quickly, but then still have enough coins left over for a huge pop-off on a Vanessa turn.
And just trying to preserve health where he can before the Ziliax, just in case there's any kind of ridiculous, like, Lanessa burnout coming out in the near future.
Yep, and that is the Incendius, which, I definitely think that's based on like what he's seen so far. Kind of the route I would go, sort of say, okay, well, I know you've got a bunch of damage in play to deal with this, but let's sort of force you to actually do that.
Right.
And if it does stick around, then you're in a great spot. Are they considered zero cost in the deck for the purposes of Robocaller? The eruptions?
I'm not sure, actually. That's a good question.
Oh no, one cost.
Since Finley's disappeared, my knowledge of like what cast when drawn cards actually cost when they're in your hand has gone in the toilet. You just don't need to know it anymore.
Yep. Oh, and it's actually the Unkiliax. I just sort of assumed that it was the twin.
Yeah, it's a fair assumption. It's something that I was looking at when I was looking up and down the deck list. Generally, unless you're planning to resurrect it in some way, Twin is preferred over Unkiliax. Since the various changes that have weakened Unkiliax a little bit.
I think it must be because of Pipsy, right?
I guess so, right. It's better, yeah, I suppose as a summoning tool it is better, that makes sense.
Just if it's going to be pulled out of your deck, you'd rather it come out this way. Big Robocaller there, picking up other Beam, Sankazel, and Grifta. Oh, might just be Holy Glow Sticks, the 4/4, yeah, I guess Divine Shield and then Holy Glow Stick. Trying to keep the aggression from swinging too much back over his direction.
Okay, that's potentially huge just for a draw 2 minions option here. Starting to run out of things to do proactively.
Yeah, and I think seeing Gamer trying to stem the bleeding like that, you might feel more comfortable just sort of rolling it out. Also protects you from Gamer's coin Ziliax, which I think was why that O Manager was played.
Very true.
And because Gamer has twins, so without that poison, yeah, this becomes very difficult to remove either of these minions. Without his own Titan.
Such a huge difference now, having played the Titan. Yala was just so low on ways to spend mana effectively, and now no such issues, right? So many a straight up board in a box power play with Pipsy, and then 2 fantastic refill tools with the Robocaller as well.
Yep.
Shark's telephone.
Living Horizon's always nice when you can play it for one.
Yeah. There is a serious Titan problem that needs to be solved, though, because otherwise you're just playing a 2/2, which is less attractive, even if it did only cost you 1.
Is there a way to Grifta and, like, steal the Titan and do something?
Yeah, you'd love to steal the Unkiliax and just pump that into the Titan, but unfortunately Elusive will put paid to any plans along that line. But you can still abuse the poison on the Unkiliax by doing it the other way around.
Okay, we're gonna do this the hard
Check
way.
the fridge for stacks.
Okay, alright, just chip it on through, fine.
Yeah, I mean, it does work out because there's just so little attack on the Titan, right, that you can do this sort of chipping away. It's pretty painful, but at least you get to keep your Sankazel pretty healthy.
I was got a really good sharking off in under 5 minutes.
But
No, I'm kidding.
Opportunity to make a pretty wide board and then buff it all.
I admit I looked at one sussy video. You can see on history here. Just had to take a look at Sonic again.
Who said it's all over the room? What is all stuff?
Hello? Hello, it is I, Katniss Everdeen the Hedgehog, and I am here to rise against the Capitol. They have oppressed us for too long. Observe my amazing...
Chipping away, it's pretty painful, but at least you get to keep your Sankazel pretty healthy.
Bro, it's too stupid for that kind of breast size.
Yarla with the opportunity
It's not
to
easy.
make a pretty wide board and then buff it all. We O-managering our own 2/2.
You just have to photograph of me. Psychic rabbit.
Five, 7, 8. Okay. So Lanessa and a beam. Pipsy was the 7.
Bro's gonna punish you for taking a 5-minute break. That was very good though. My brain restarted and I
guess
Manager twice here if you want to.
and I hadn't slept on hours.
No, okay. Just gonna
It was amazing.
I think he's just trying to make a situation where the board is hard to remove, right? That okay, if you clear it, if you deal with the Pipsy is going to summon all this stuff, right? So there's layers.
Oh, it's so easy to watch something now. Or do things.
trying to figure out if does Yarla still have everything left? He still has the Sandcastle for Rush. He still has the Living Horizon and Silver Wings for Divine Shield. So yeah, he'd get like Horizon for Taunt and Silver Wing for Divine Shield or something like that. So yeah, he would still get the full set.
Yeah, gonna burn now though because of that Grifta. That's one of the sort of cheeky side effects you can get going on is you Grifta while your opponent's on 9 cards and you get to burn.
Yeah, sure.
And honestly, one of the best ones to give your opponent is the draw, because pretty much no one wants to draw 3 and discard 2 randomly.
Ooh, Horn of the Windlord going down as well. Big big damage to
It was kind of like I hadn't fallen asleep yet. Kind of having have to fall asleep.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, Jarla's just going for it. The spell damage from Oracle. I mean, this is the thing, when you get to later in the game.
Oh, Snake Oil, yes please.
Snake Oil with
so close, right? Just to take the Divine Shield. I think everything else just is too efficient with the coins and the Divine Brews to get the glow sticks down.
Yep.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, and so, you know, the full combo version ending up getting comboed by the Pipsy deck.
And I think so. There is some merit to that argument though, because both decks kind of ran out of things to do in the mid game, but then Jarla, just by having a bit more board presence through that through the Pipsy,
presence of mind, presence of baguette.
The offensive a little bit more effectively. That might be a bit of a false positive, because what really happened is one of them played Titan.
That card is so
the other one didn't.
stupid.
Played Titan was the one that had more resources, which is probably a bigger factor, if we're being entirely honest. But yeah, I think Jarla will be delighted to get that.
Bros, being entirely honest,
as smoothly as he did there, especially as without that Titan draw, he was looking like his hand was in real trouble the way it was.
Remember, when your body is you're like
if you were to look at
taking a nap with your eyes open or being conscious or whatever, you but just want to think about anything.
Because instead of it being, well, whoever gets Titan first, right, you do have poison in your own Ziliax to deal with an opposing Titan. You do have much more capacity to build these complex boards that are hard to remove. And so you just got a couple of tools that the all-in Lanessa deck doesn't have. I think the counter to point to that would be like, but does the Lanessa deck just sometimes kill the Pipsy deck before it does anything, right? And I don't know.
And you saw, I think there was some fear of that from Jarla when he was doing kind of the counterintuitive to Hearthstone 101 idea of taking less damage on his face and more damage on his minions on board with the way he was making trades, right? Because he knew if he could just stabilize, get that Ziliax to come down, particularly because it was unkillable, right? It's like he was about to get full Reno from the twin Ziliax. So just staying out of range, you know, the difference between 20 and 19 might have actually been very relevant with the way the breakpoints happen, with the glow sticks and that kind of thing. So Jarla just making sure he's getting the small details right. And, you know, when you take as long to take your turns as these two players do, the one thing that you got to guarantee is that you are getting those small details right, because that's where you find your marginal gains when you're thinking about everything. When you're
marginal gains.
In every little variable.
I love gains.
Maybe a certain player does have a small advantage. 2-1 though, we have just Swarm Shaman remaining for Jarla. How's it looking? What are these matchups against Rogue? I think so. Here's a more focused question. There has been a lot of consternation about the Shaman versus Rogue matchup in particular in this tournament. And I think it is kind of key to lineup building, like where you sit on that matchup as to where you're going to end up with your lineup in this.
The best Rogue players feel like, yeah, it's closer than that, but it's a very powerful.
I think of the Hulk actor saying, "So Ant-Man and a Spider-Man in Infinity War's Endgame." Avengers Endgame.
And also, the best Rogue players will say that about every matchup. Come on.
Sure.
It's like back in the day where you'd find like that one Freeze Mage player be like, nah, you're actually just favoured against Control Warrior. Shut up. Go away. Get in the bin. What are you talking about?
Well, certainly good potential curve here for Yarla going into the Paladin. And I think Gamer sort of knows that he wants to do the rogue last.
And I think that makes sense. These two really have no concerns, I think, with fatigue from long series. Two of the most practiced people on the planet when it comes down to it.
Pirates to draw, because you mostly have tokens. Is Cookie the only pirate?
I believe so. In the standard build,
no.
in a non-like pirate focus build.
Right, unless you have the Hosen. She does not. So yeah, guaranteed Cookie. No sigil to go with it.
But also, I think most importantly, just a turn 2 spider tank that's attacking, which is a real big deal.
Sure. That is the main appeal. Coin Gorgonzormu? It's like Coin Gorgonzormu or Hi-Ho Silver? Because I think if you save the coin, it's to be able to like mixologist and then coin out whatever you find.
Well, Charles doesn't have any features on his face.
You could also coin the mixologist, which allows you to have an extra minion in play now, but then you know the potion that you get comes down as on the same turn. But yeah, that way you'd rather have the Divine Shield minion in play, I think, just a little bit more competitive. Does this make sense?
Well, and it's slow draw, right? Like it's going to take a minute for the Silverwing to die.
Yeah, good point.
You know, Gorgonzormu in the non-aggressive strategies is kind of an odd card because on the one hand, playing it on curve is great, right? So you can start upgrading it right away, but you are not necessarily just going to immediately get 2 drops or something like that. And it's really just there because it's powerful board burst to contest against other aggressive decks, and then sometimes you know you used it buffed up with Vanessa for a massive board swing. So not as essential to get played as early as possible.
Quite a few good outcomes here from the Cactus Cutter.
Assuming you get the chance to see them. Yeah. I mean, it's more health than attack, so this is still challenging to remove.
Yeah, true.
People focus a lot.
As you can see, no draw off the second one, but Yarla not too bothered about it. Just pushing face with the 5/7.
Yeah. You don't need more value if they're just dead.
I have very rarely watched my opponent's hero portrait explode and thought, man, I wish I had more cards in my hand right now.
Freeze, good pickup here, though.
Yeah, really good.
Can't deal with
She's
it.
sharp like a baguette.
Is to freeze it.
Maybe I'm supposed to sharpen my baguette. I didn't mean penis either. It's just a baguette.
Has anything died? I don't think so. So we're not summoning. Unless we make a trade.
Unless you trade first, but even then, not super high value.
Yeah, just taking the 2/2 demon.
Yep, summon, freeze, and push makes sense.
It's always way too fucking stupid. All these streamers I noticed, they can't pronounce baguette correctly.
Ooh.
Less than ideal.
So they have some kind of dialect.
Yeah. is sort of the only option. Oof, nice sometimes to get the parachute there, but in this instance with the cutter, it means you are denied any opportunity to get the taunt, and I think the best hit there would have been a pop-up book.
Yeah, similar to the last turn, right? When I was talking about good outcomes off the Cactus Cutter, obviously there was all the parachutes that would just get you a nice 1-1, can just bump off a Divine Shield or whatever else. But again, pop-up book was the best hit on the previous turn as well, I think. Just to be able to deal with the 2-2, fully protect your 5-7. Yeah, sometimes a blessing and a curse. The parachute draws off the Cactus. Of course, you don't get the buff as well from the Cactus card text that you would do with pop-up book.
But also means that since you're not guaranteed a spell, right? Even if it were a more expensive spell, you would then have it to use with Oracle. And Oracle is great unless you don't have anything to activate it with.
He knocked on his
that could just be double beam.
butt cheeks. Maybe they are.
Is there something better than just going through the double prismatic beam draw?
Sounded
Yes, so.
like hitting a metal sheet. I'm thinking if Wizard Jensen is twerking
It's a kind of weird situation.
in one side harder than the other, he can move a ship force across the sea at lightning
right
speeds.
now, Gamer is sort of ahead on the going wide front.
Yeah, it is a strange opening. From the deck that we're referring to as Swarm Shaman, that has just made one large minion and hit face with it for 2 turns.
Okay, so we did take the Resurrect and Armor. Gonna leave up the big minion and clear everything else. Makes sense to me. More of the deck is built around.
I'm going to bed, chat. I'm tired. Goodbye. Hello. Goodbye. Don't forget to suck dick. I don't know how to end this stream.